You don't think Gus Fring built his distribution network all by himself?
I think it's time I meet your uncle.
To WW.
Each week, we break down another Breaking Bad episode in order. This week, it's the Season 5A finale, Gliding Over All. I've got 46 details you might not know, and I think some of the 21 callbacks are gonna blow your mind. As a wise viewer once said, it's got the most Breaking Bad per episode of Breaking Bad. The title refers to a
Poem by Walt Whitman.
foreshadowing this episode's shocking ending and the many deaths that will occur before then. We start right away with the first not-so-subtle callback to Fly. There are so many possible interpretations here, just like the Fly episode. But Walt's now indifferent to the Fly, perhaps like he's now indifferent to murder.
Mr. White, the car's been dealt with.
Joe ask any questions?
I told him RV job, just like you said, and he totally knew. It's pretty cool the way they do that.
When we're through with it, it's gonna be about yay big.
Turn a car to a cube. So should we do this other thing now?
Flies are also a signal of dead bodies being around, like with Mrs. Pecatiwa. You can see studio lighting in the reflection that doesn't exist in the reverse shot. That's not Jonathan Banks, and they digitally froze his neck because originally you could see his pulse. But don't let this distract you from the fact that Walt's car is missing its license plate.
I don't want to talk about this.
Okay.
It had to be done.
Todd gets it.
May I talk to you?
Jesse's now on the other side of this exchange.
I want to talk to you.
This is private property. You get the mic? You get out safe?
He's gone.
Uh-huh.
What about those 9 guys? What do we do?
You and me.
Who's
we?
you and me?
I'm the only vote left.
The director viewed this as shutting their relationship closed, and it's inspired by The Godfather.
In exchange, we expect all charges to be dropped, blanket immunity.
Best I'd be willing to do is queen for a day and reduce charges.
I thought that was a joke, but it is a term that's used for a proffer letter.
You could be a fairy princess for all I care.
Where are you going?
I got 8 other assholes. I also got Dan, the douchebag lawyer, who's gonna give me the money and Ermintrout. So settle in, Dennis. Enjoy your new home.
That's June and Fred, the real-life owners of the Schrader house.
I think this would play better if you ordered something.
This is sort of a callback to her meeting with Mike.
Drink your hot water.
It would have been hilarious if she called him Dwayne.
So let's take a look at the list.
Once I give that list, I've served my purpose, and then maybe I'm just one more person who knows too much.
So you put that list in my hands, and in your mind, I immediately just murder you right here in this restaurant.
Walt's projecting because that absolutely was on the table. Literally, as we'll see at the end of this scene. Earlier, you can see when he puts it under the hat.
You made me promise on my children's lives that I guaranteed your safety.
From Mike.
Lydia's too paranoid and pedantic to be fooled by Walt's words.
If you don't want to give me that list, and I've truly got no use for you.
I can grow your business exponentially. What do you know about the Czech Republic?
I know several subscribers and channel members are from there.
Did you know there's a higher demand for meth there than anywhere else in Europe? By adding overseas sales, you could more than double your current profits. The average purity is only about 60%. They've never seen anything like your product. You'll blow their hair back.
She's speaking his language.
If this is such a slam dunk, then why didn't you pitch it to Fring?
I did. He said yes. We were in the final stages of working it out when somebody killed him. You don't think Gus Fring built his distribution network all by himself?
All right.
With Fring, my end was going to be 30%, which I believe is more than fair.
Okay.
Trust me, if you do this,
Lydia, learn to take yes for an answer. First things first.
She did actually write some correct names like Andrew Holt, Anthony Perez, William Maniz, and Jack McGann, but she wrote Andrew Holt 2 or 3 times.
Jacob, we're going to make a lot of money together.
Just remember who you're working for.
The ricin is put back. I feel like we'll see this again. And that is Walt's side of the bed, just reflected in the mirror.
Todd, I think it's time I meet your uncle.
Always. Shower room, cells.
There's Venezia's. It looks like they ordered it sliced.
This is gonna be fast and quiet.
You know, giving it a snort, just
boom, boom, boom. Taking out all these guys is doable, but hitting them in 3 separate jails all within 2 minutes, whacking bin Laden wasn't this complicated.
This mistake is pretty famous, as the Bin Laden raid was in 2011 and we're still in 2009.
Where do you suppose these come from? I've seen this one before.
Yes, you have, Walt, at the hospital in season 2.
It can be done, just not the way you want it.
It can be done exactly how I want it. The only question is, are you the man to do it?
Walt wears his watch on his left wrist, but in this close-up shot, his left hand is the one that's free. He presses the crown to start the stopwatch, but that's what the top button is for on Tag Heuer watches. There, I fixed my pronunciation. Thanks for setting me straight. And the date is shown as the 10th, but in Better Call Saul, they say the murders happened on October 4th.
God bless people for noticing all our mistakes, by the way.
We get 2 memorable montages in this episode. In the remainder of the series, montages are sparse course, with only 5 left. This montage also has Godfather inspiration. An extra connection with this song is that Nat King Cole died of lung cancer. Look at this guy bolt when he sees the killers coming. We learn in Better Call Saul that Dan was stabbed 48 times. This was all filmed at one former jail, but they used the colors of the walls and uniforms to make it look like 3 different places. It's subtle, but you can see the camera reflected in the window. Holt and Perez were previously at the same prison.
Holt and Perez are in lockup in Los Lunas.
But now they aren't. Maybe they moved Perez? Because Martinez was implied to be at a 4th location, but he's now at MDC. By process of elimination, this is Harris Boyven, but it doesn't look like him.
Cardboard is a lot softer than you think.
Speak for yourself, Al. Actually, he's allowed to say that because he got set on fire pretending to be Dennis. From the start of the 2-minute timer to the end, 1 minute and 56 seconds of the episode elapse. It was going to be exactly 2 minutes, but they needed to adjust it to match the music. I wonder if they considered 2 minutes as a title for this episode. The time did go from 12:01 to 12:03, although at one point in the middle the time was shown as noon. Is taking a team photo with an ASAC a normal thing? This scene gives me George Bush in the classroom on 9/11 vibes. And this team has 10 members, mirroring the 10 men just murdered.
It's done.
New details have emerged.
Real-life anchor Antoinette is back, and Walt is very pleased with himself.
Okay if I turn this off? I just pulled up and he's not in the best mood.
I thought we could have that chicken you like. Or we could order Chinese.
You know that's Marie's vote.
I don't know, I just feel like Chinese.
Why don't we ever get Chinese?
Hey, Hank, I was just getting ready to leave. Drink? Yeah, sure, thanks.
Rocks, right?
Rocks, yes.
Wait a minute.
Breaking Bad breaking news.
Even without the Rocky reference, I guess Rock still would have won.
The rocks, Hank!
If he knew you were going to grab them with your bare hand, maybe he would have passed on the rocks. At least the alcohol should kill the germs. By the way, this whole rocks thing goes even deeper. Walt doesn't normally put ice in his drinks, but Mike did. So in a weird way, this is another example of Walt taking on habits of people he killed.
Been thinking about this summer job I used to have, marking trees in the woods with this orange spray can. Maybe I should have enjoyed it more. Tagging trees is a lot better than chasing monsters.
I used to love to go camping.
Not the most empathetic response. This cool transition and the whole upcoming montage is inspired by The Graduate. When you slow it down, you can see the cut between shots. However, both before and after were filmed on the tented house set. They painted the wall to match Hank and Marie's and found a similar couch, but not identical. You can see in the before shot that the pillows have piping, but Hank and Marie's couch doesn't. And we now begin what Vince called
The granddaddy of all montages, I think, on Breaking Bad. This one here.
It's the final cooking montage in the series, and it's almost 4 minutes long. It's got everything. A fantastic song with extra meaning, 2 different types of for motion picture use only 50s, including finally a complete view of this guy. Cool transitions like this stack falling from the table into a trunk, Walt's writing hand turning into Skyler's writing hand, Saul's drink turning into methylamine, Skyler grabbing the red mug turning into Lydia picking it up wearing the same shirt and nail polish, a Todd wipe, which reminds me. And another callback, although this time it's reusing the exact same footage, just colored differently. The purpose of this montage is to show that Walt's empire is succeeding beyond his wildest imagination, yet he feels bored and empty. This barrel is correctly being sent from the One Magical Loop address, but there are problems with the destination, which I only know thanks to David Burish and Ulish. The translation of the company name is weird and grammatically incorrect, the phone number has an extra digit, and the destination might be a hospital. Walt's business kind of glides over everyone's heads, as does this cool aerial shot. That's a lot of tents. Are the Vominos guys planting cockroaches in this neighborhood?
Baby girl, come see your brother.
In this scene, you never see Anna's face and the baby's face at the same time. That's because the baby was crying so much they needed the mother dressed as Skyler to hold her. Lewis once again interrupts Junior hanging out with his mom and aunt.
You wanna watch a movie?
Yo, what's up? Hey, Lewis. Hey, can you call me like in 2 minutes?
1 moment.
Thanks, bye.
It's so nice to see you smile again. It's such an improvement, don't you think? Maybe time to take the kids home. It's been almost 3 months.
Just over 2 months went by during the mega montage since it had already been about a month since the pool incident.
Maybe we're enabling you. Maybe at this point, the best way to help repair the family would be to repair the family.
Nope, no family.
Would you take a drive with me?
This is it. This is what you've been working for.
This money pile is mostly a wood box with money along the edges. That Raid logo keeps facing the camera. Maybe the folks at SC Johnson had something to do with that.
How much is this?
I have no earthly idea.
The prop department estimated it would be around $80 to $90 million, which they reveal later in the series.
There is more money here than we could spend in 10 lifetimes. I certainly can't launder it. I want my kids back. I want my life back. How much is enough? How big does this pile have to be?
We've been suspecting the cancer would come back based on how the season started, and we appear to be reaching the point of that diagnosis. They originally had a scene with Walt's doctor telling him he was still in remission, but they cut it to give them flexibility for how season 5B would play out. It's been over a year. Would they really not fix this? I see you, cameraman. I'm not going to count this as a callback, but what's up with the knocking 5 times in Breaking Bad? What's Jesse getting?
Want to come in or?
Sure.
Saul told me what you did.
There was no other option, Jesse. It had to be done.
I'm not coming back.
I know.
So why are you here?
I saw a bounder the other day.
Here's a bit of a callback.
Our RV, a bounder.
Thing was a nightmare.
It was primitive.
Man, we had money. Why'd we keep it?
Inertia.
I never thought about that, but I guess this was an attempt to close a plot hole.
Yeah. So, hey, I gotta get going. Just meeting up with some friends.
I left something for you.
Just kidding. It was money. It was money. The realistic looking money, except for the serial number being the same on all bills. And this is a practical choice for Walt as it clears out $5 million from the storage unit. Oh, that's what Jesse got when he saw Walt at the door. The gun just rotated.
I'm out. I'll do the treatment.
She did it. She finally got through to him. And now for the calm before the storm, which is shot just like the flash forwards throughout season 2. Except the beetle here is an extra callback to the one Jesse saved, only to be squashed by Skinny Pete.
I don't know. Coin?
Holly's even wearing pink like the teddy bear. Another month has elapsed, so I can stop saying we're still in 2009. Welcome to 2010, and we can finally talk about Marie's bright yellow outfit. I've played Vince's joke that
if she showed up dressed all in yellow one day, we'd have known
things have gone south.
And yellow is associated with meth and other bad things. However, the costume designer and writer revealed the surprising reason for this choice.
The bloggers went crazy that the yellow looked like the Tyvek yellow,
Oh, wow.
hazmat suit. No, it was just a change.
Yeah.
Things are looking up.
But there was thought
Things are,
behind it.
yes.
Exactly. 'cause
There
things
was
are-
thought behind it.
It also probably explains the yellowtail wine. I find this fascinating when paired with the old photo where she's also wearing yellow. It makes me think that all this purple stuff, the opposite of yellow, is a coping mechanism, similar to the shoplifting that reflects poor mental health. And now we're finally seeing the old Happy Marie for the first time. Other times where she wore some yellow, there were also signs of things looking up, like when she randomly thought about going into management.
I'm thinking about making a move up to management.
They spend so long talking about nothing, and this was intentional torture from the creators.
Schrader bro?
I vote yes.
I second that.
They wanted viewers to get anxious, thinking, is this really how this season's going to end? A happy ending? Not so fast. Hank needs to poop.
WW.
And here's the final callback, although it did use some different takes.
I mean, who do you figure that is, yeah? Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson. Willy Wonka. Walter White. Walter White.
You got me.
I love the complete silence. You can imagine all the things running through his head right now.
What are you doing?
He's still out there.
You have my wife's name! How'd you do it?
We got in there, cinder blocks.
$500,000 in cash.
Hank!
We don't want people to start wondering about you, right?
Right under my nose.
What a cliffhanger. He finally knows. When this aired, viewers had to wait almost a whole year for the next episode. So Walt went to all this effort to eliminate loose ends, only to leave this piece of evidence out in the open. Why? Here's what Vince and Bryan think.
He neither wanted to be caught, nor was he particularly arrogant in that moment. He had been out of the business a month. He just was not as cautious as he should have been. I think it was a mistake, pure and simple. And it's possible that when he got the book, he might not even have realized it was inscribed.
He used to be a very methodical man. He's put that in the past, and he's doing things more on emotion than we've seen him before. And so I I chalked it up to that he was a little more careless than he was before.
But the root cause of Walt's downfall wasn't greed, ego, self-sabotage, or carelessness. It was buying a house with only one bathroom. This book has huge news, bigger than WW.
Hypertane, Steakhouse, Skyler, and Dread Intuit are 1-year members.
Congratulations to the 4 of you for earning your 1-year membership badges from YouTube.
Timmy Jackson, Deathwish 682, Sven Wagner, and Chintuples are 6-month members.
And the other 4 of you for earning your 6-month membership badges from YouTube. Here are all the 6-month and 1-year members. All of you have become part of Breaking Bad canon at this point and have contributed so many great ideas to the channel. Thank you so much for your support.
So let's take a look at the list.
There are some new members to write down. Rex the Wonder Horse, Krill, David Hernandez, Anubis, Sand Wolfie, Mr. Dark, Nodby Nobdy, Josh, Veg1138, Abraham Cardenas, The Shaman, The Midgard Chronicler, Fettuccine Alfredo, Tim Martin, Evan Highland, Florian Luza, Rick, Seth, Hamas, Surplus Disco, and give it up for Gino Smith, the second Seahawk to join. It makes sense that you'd want early access to videos because you're pretty busy on Sundays. Cheerio Lord, Cacpatu, El Hasso, Old Plainface, Absinthalis, and Shabox. Thanks to you, I was able to add a Skinny Pete exit emoji. Here's where I need to fix my wildly wrong pronunciation of Santiago Murcia. For some reason I thought it said Murica. Sorry about that. I always like it when member names match the theme, like here Script and Eric the Story Guy being in this book feels appropriate. Also shout out to Hayden Gonzalez, Alex Scott, Infamous Jimbo, Pautism, Prangle, Max Payne, Meeker MW, Vavris, WinRAR 64-bit download, which by the way, with a name like that, someone recently questioned if you were a real person. Funnyfish, Fake, Chumly Chum, Deceptic Reed, Manny, Sasha, and all these fine folks who you'll be hearing again soon. Next week, we begin what is truly season 6 of Breaking Bad. We'll talk about it.